Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 507. Waiting a little bit of time there for Wolfie to bark. A little bit of time. There have been longer instances we've gone without starting the episode thanks to Wolfie's delay. But we're alright. We're going to continue on here. Like I said, in episode 507 on a Thursday. Thursday, September 17th. 2015. I hear footsteps. That's a cow. It's a cow. It's all right, everybody. It's a cow. Whew. It's a cow. And, yeah. We are going to continue on this here Thursday. Our Child's Play charity fundraiser has gone up to $4,168.50. I do appreciate all the continued donations. That little bump we had over the last episode, up $1,000 and some odd dollars, was a pleasant and grand surprise. And I look forward to more of those sort of situations, or even just the slow, gradual, and persistent raising of money for Child's Play charity is sort of the Farlands or Bust way, so that works as well. But either way, I appreciate every big or small and everything in between donation to the charity. And I do think there is a zombie spawner beneath us, but I am here. I'm not here for spawning zombies. I'm here for collecting resources. Some wooden planks. I guess I'll plant a tree, I guess, why not, since I picked up the thing. Let's take down this tree as well. This tree as well, indeed. Had a bit of a nice rant in the last episode about home purchasing, home buying, which was well received. A lot of people either taking the same or similar opinion, renting versus owning, having alternate discussions, and certainly there's situations where my own opinions apply to my own life and my own plans and desires, whereas for other people, I think other things may take precedent, and certainly even in other locations around the States or even the world, there are different reasons to rent versus buy, but those opinions were my own and do not necessarily reflect the thoughts of Farlands or Bust Incorporated. No, there's no Incorporated. This is, you think this is some sort of professional operation? You'd be wrong. Right, Wolfie? Nope, he's not even saying anything until he gets a treat. Yep, yeah, as expected. Ooh, that's weird. Hold on, let's check that out. It looks like somebody was trying to cross across there, and they pillared across. Weird. So yeah, as always, an interesting topic of Farlands or Bustitude. And today's episode will be no different. Today's episode will be no different indeed after we get done checking out this. Well, it's kind of weird and interesting. There's a whole bunch of caves going through this mountain. Neat. I know, cow. You guys have a neat home. Congratulations. Are you buying or are you renting? Oh man. So yeah. All right. Hold on. I need to clear my throat here. Woof. Wolfie agrees with the throat clearage. Because there is a topic. There's a topic that is making the rounds on the internets, and perhaps if you're on Twitter or elsewhere on the internet, I'm sure you've probably heard of it, but sometimes maybe you haven't, so that's why I'm bringing it up here in an episode of Farlands or Bust. It would seem that yesterday, this is the story about the kid who built a clock, a digital clock. Out of his own circuit boards. He's kind of a tinkerer. He was part of a robotics club, and he built a clock, brought it to school, and that is when hell broke loose. Not really hell broke loose, but that is when bad things happened. Basically, here's the story. Let me give you the rundown, and then I'll give my particular thoughts. And again, please stop me if I start to go. There's many tangents I could take here. I'm going to try to stay on the road here, but I may veer wildly out of control at some point. But anyway, a 14-year-old ninth grader named Ahmed Mohamed from Irving, Texas. Irving, Texas. So it's of no surprise, sort of, that it's coming out of Texas. Brought his homemade, a DIY project. This wasn't for a school project or an assignment or anything. He just likes to tinker at home with electronics and computers and robotics and stuff. He wanted to show his engineering teacher this homemade digital clock to school. And it was in a case to protect the electronics and the cables. It was basically like a circuit board. I'm not sure exactly. It might have been like a Raspberry Pi thing or maybe something a little bit more crude. But he brought it to school, and promptly one of the teachers saw it and said it was a fake bomb, despite the fact that he was continuing and continued to contest that, no, it's a clock. I made a clock. I wanted to show it off, or who knows, maybe he needed help, so he brought it to get some help from teachers who might know how to help. I don't know what the exact surroundings are, but anyway, he made a clock, and the first thing that the teacher proclaims is that it's a fake bomb. Brought him down to the principal. The principal apparently continued with that storyline, and then they brought in the police, and the police decided that it was a good idea. They decided not to stop the craziness as it continued. They decided to continue on with the craziness. Put this 14-year-old ninth grader, this skinny, nerdy 14-year-old who probably weighs 80 pounds soaking wet, in handcuffs, and parade him out of school and down to the police station to fingerprint him and bring him in like a criminal. And here's one of my tangents. What's with the handcuffs? And the police will probably defend themselves saying, oh, handcuffs are used in every situation to protect us, the officers, as well as the general public. If you feel like you need to be protected from a 14-year-old, a scrawny 14-year-old, on his own, unarmed, in a NASA t-shirt, then maybe police work isn't the correct career path for you, my friend. Composure, back on the right trail. The reason they use handcuffs is to express their authority and power. But that's beside the point. Back on track. So anyway, this kid is arrested and interrogated, and some of the news reports coming out is that he was interrogated and questioned without his parents present, which is wildly illegal, but not beyond the scope of police activities from what I'm aware of. And they kept trying to suggest and get him to say it was a bomb, but he simply said it's a clock. It's a clock, and their complaint is that he elaborated no further. There didn't need to be elaboration further. He didn't have to provide a reason or a purpose. It's a clock. He was probably completely frightened, first of all, and completely bewildered at the state of affairs that was transpiring before him. So he simply was just repeating what he knew. It's a clock. But anyway, there's been quite the hubble-blub around this, quite naturally, both from a political and kind of a sociological standpoint. Obviously, judging by his name, his family is actually originally from the Sudan, and he is of brown skin complexion. So then you have to start to ask, would these teachers and these police officers have treated him the same way if he was a white kid? That's always a question that immediately pops up. They say it's for safety, and oh, you can never be too safe, and we're just trying to protect your children. But nah, are you? It goes on even further into the DIY community. Okay, we've basically suppressed this kid's interest and drive and desire to be a creator, to get into do it yourself, to tinker, to become an engineer, and all that stuff that snowballs from there. It kind of hits a little bit home, not to the same degree, but that's like at that young age, very, very formative experiences are taking place in the brain places. And I can distinctly remember a point when I was much younger, but a point where I was starting to hang out and make friends and socialize a bunch in school. And I was immediately reprimanded for doing so, for, say, talking innocently in class, or specifically hanging out with the wrong friend. I was making a friend who himself was quite the class clown, and we had a lot in common and had a lot of fun together, but, this kid's gonna set Kurt on the wrong path. He's a real troublemaker, so we should discourage Kurt from hanging out with him. So from there, I kind of distinctly remember a switch going off in my head, and I've talked about this before, where it's like, okay, I am being punished for talking and socializing in class. So I will just never talk. I will be quiet. I will stop making friends. And that pretty immediately set me on the path to shyness and introversion and whatnot. So that, just that part of it, obviously, it's a much lesser degree than what he's going through, but it sort of like ticked that box, like, yeah, this is going to be like a formative thing to him. Of course, now he's being thrust into the media and national spotlight. Who knows what that might do to him overall? But there is some good news around this, so we'll get to the good news here after we take a quick nap and a sleep. And continue in the morning. And awakeness. And awakeness. And what is this world coming to-ness? So the good news, the good spin that I've noticed almost like immediately as the story started hitting, specifically in my own personal Twitter feed, because I follow and am friends with a lot of people through my NASA tweet up and space shuttle launch and NASA social days. A lot of the people who work for NASA and at JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, like immediately started tweeting out, hey, anytime you want to stop by, we'll show you around the behind-the-scenes tour of NASA JPL. You want to see some Mars rovers? You want to, since he's very interested in robotics and whatnot. So like almost immediately the DIY, the science, the engineering community seems to have stepped up and trying to counter this kind of discouragement that he has received from his school and his the authorities around him, and are going around to encourage him to continue to explore these things. They're showing off their work desks at NASA JPL, and there's circuit boards and wires and weird things all around, and saying, hey, this is what we do every day. You shouldn't be discouraged from this. Of course, more recently, even the President Obama invited him to the White House to bring his projects to the White House to show off and encourage kids to get into science and whatnot. That's neat and all. You do kind of wonder how many focus groups and advisors and little, copy editors went over that tweet before publishing it. That had to have been a little bit not as spontaneous as one would assume from the president. And now we're, of course, starting to see Microsoft and a bunch of tech companies and stuff inviting him for tours and whatever. And so it's spinning wildly here. And, obviously now they are, the family is getting in touch with lawyers and whatnot. No charges were placed against him, but both the police department and the school principal or the administrator or somebody issued a statement to parents, and nowhere do they ever even give the hint that they apologize for their overreaction. They say their top priority is to protect your children. I don't have kids in school, but I think a school's top priority should be to teach our children. Am I right? I'm not sending them there to be put in a cage away from all the dangers of the world with barbed wire and armed guards on the outside. I'm sending them to school to be taught, to learn, to be educated. But that's beside the point. I guess like I said, I don't have kids. I don't know. maybe that's what parents do. Hello, Creeper. Woo! Do you send your children to school to be protected? Creeper guy? I think not. So it's a really sad situation. And there's a lot of just angles and just badness. And if anything, I mean, I'm sure hopefully the awareness, hopefully some positive changes come out of this, but it is a very, just both with schools and law enforcement, this weird, crappy, zero tolerance policy, bull honky is really just not a good thing, and it really stinks to see that happen to a kid. Like I said, in like the formative years. Okay, now he's going to grow up, and now he's already said he's never going to bring any of his projects to school anymore. He's going to suddenly think that your hobbies, your interests, should be done behind closed doors in the privacy of your own home, and don't tell anybody because somebody might take it the wrong way and turn you in because of the color of your skin, and they make weird associations in their brains that aren't at all right. And spawner. So we've been on a spawner hiatus here for a while. Have a seat, Wolfie. But yeah, hopefully the counter incentive of all these astronauts and engineers, sending their best wishes and invites and further encouragement, hopefully counters the negative stuff that would have potentially come out of it had such a thing not happened. Why can't I open this? Oh, it's probably a double chest. Ooh, a lot of iron. Some bread, although I don't really need bread. Do I need bread? No, I don't need bread. I need no bread. I have no room for bread in my inventory. Get rid of the sand. Well, that was a good little collection of iron there. Thank you, my dear zombie friends. You have provided me with instruments of instrument making. Boop. Very nice. That was a good haul. Good haul from the zombie spawner. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. It was kind of, hopefully the good part of the story of all the outpouring of support from the DIY and the engineering and the space and the robotics and, the Mythbusteries, the Grant Imaharas and all these folks and the NASA Mohawk guy and all that stuff. Hopefully spins towards positive. Not only for him in particular, for this 9th grader in particular, but hopefully towards positive change in these otherwise completely backwards and upside down systems that have caused such a thing to happen. But anyway, that is that. And we are continuing on to the far lands here. Like I said in episode 507, now that we can dust that off, I suppose maybe, it's possible a few of you might not have heard the stories, but decided it was worth bringing up, and really a dang shame. A dang shame, I say, but hopefully good comes out of it. Woof, Wolfie agrees. Let's see here. Here we go. We got some questions. Let's talk about some questions from donors to Child's Play charity at farlandsorbust.com. From Rosachu, who has informed me is female, not a he. It's possible this name does sound familiar. Probably a frequent donor to Child's Play charity through Farlands or Bust. I may have inaccurately said he, but it is a she. It is a she. I should perhaps start to remind myself to use some gender-neutral terms for those I cannot make assumptions for. But Rosachu has asked many questions, 3 questions to be exact. Many people comment on your radio-esque voice. Would you ever consider being a stand-up comic? No. Just because I don't know how they come up with jokes. Same thing like I don't know if I could ever be a musician because I don't know how anybody ever comes up with original music. Like I would only be able to create stuff that I already know exists. And both music and jokes and whatnot. Jokes! So I think this format suits me well, because rambling's a thing that I'm pretty good at, and making it sort of sound like they're being spawned from coherent thought. I'm still, 4 years later, I'm still trying to stop to say I noticed that a lot in the last episode, because I was really just kind of spitballing ideas and thoughts and opinions out about the mortgage and how home buying things. I just did it right there, and I just noticed I was saying a lot. That is a very difficult thing. I should welcome the pauses in my voice and not have the constant need to fill it with noise. But even now, in consciously attempting such things, careful Wolfie, in consciously attempting such things, it feels very unnatural to me. But let's try. Perhaps that should be a goal for KurtJMac. That's why the views are low, because I say all the time. So I almost did it there. So even elongating the so in order to fill dead air. But no, I wouldn't. I don't think I would ever do stand-up comedy because the live audience, radio would be more likely than stand-up comedy because there's no people there to distract and heckle and judge. Oh my God, Wolfie, that was a terrible, terrible thing you just did. I don't know how you thought you could have made that jump. That was hilarious. There we go. Now do you want to get the pig, or have you forgotten about the pig? Oh, have a flower. How about I just kill the pig? There we go. That works too. That was pretty funny. That was some comedy gold. You should be a stand-up. You should be a fall-down comic there, Wolfie. Fall-down comic. I've coined the term. Second question from Rosachu. She asks, your opinion of the YouTube channel Vsauce. Did you ask this during the live stream yesterday? I did a live stream yesterday, and somebody asked me about Vsauce. But I'm like subscribed to them through my vlog channel, Kurt Indeed. I have 2 separate logins and channels for those, but I never watch any of their videos. They are very kind of the educational videos, kind of a little bit vlog brothery, but less vlog and more informative. But I never take too much time unless there's a topic specific to something of my interests. I wouldn't just continually watch all the videos, but I'm sure they're very popular and they seem to have high production value, and they seem to make quality content and not necessarily simply popular content, if you understand my drift there. So that's, even though it turns out to be popular. Careful, Ove! You're having troubles today. Popular content. So yeah, those are my opinions of Vsauce. I don't know that much about them, nor have I watched enough of the videos to form a proper opinion. But I'll get to the third question from Rosachu in the morning. And awakeness. Jokes. Lastly. What do you think is the most important thing you've learned in the past few years from your experience as a YouTuber? The last few years, not the first few years, because we're into this 4.5 years. Most important thing I've learned. I've learned nothing. Obviously, there's a lot of technical things I've learned about video, audio editing, YouTube, social medias, and publishings and stuff. I suppose... I mean, I could say, learn not to take comments or negative comments to heart, but I still do. That's the thing as a human that is difficult to train yourself not to do. I want to go this way. I know it's kind of a bad way to go, but I want to go left a little bit. So yeah, I haven't learned that. I haven't really learned how to properly market or sell or be businessly type, promotional or whatever. I haven't learned that yet, I don't think. What have I learned? I've learned how to make friends. No, I don't know. I said, sorry, Wolfie. You're taking all the damage today. Whoa! Alright, let's make sure you eat this. I almost fed you the compass. That would have been awkward. I need that! Stop it! Let's see here. Most important thing I've learned. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I haven't learned a thing. Have you learned nothing? I suppose I've learned not to underestimate the power, the generosity, the kindness of the fans, of the regulars, of the fans, both for Child's Play charity and then also to support my own stuff, to pick up the slack where YouTube and ads have fallen off through Patreon, and now even more recently on live streams with the tip jar, which all of those things are obviously not necessary, not compulsory, not even widely requested, but they are very much appreciated, those who do go out of their way for that sort of thing, or even just you know, the comments and the fan arts, I suppose that is something I've learned to not second guess or not reject, I suppose, is kind of a strong word for it, but to not reject that sort of assistance, that support and whatnot. So, yeah, let's go with that. That sounds like a warm and fuzzy answer there, doesn't it? We have a question from Whelks_chance. They ask, how much exercise does your dog need? Speaking of my dog, Eva. And how much time does it take out of your day? I ask because one day I would like to own one. A dog, or specifically an Australian cattle dog? Probably Australian cattle dog. Where did that go? I lost the question. Oh, and would like to plan the impact it would have in advance. Well, you can't. You can't plan that. I knew well in advance for the years or so that I was looking at dogs, and specifically Australian cattle dogs, that, oh, they're high energy, they're working dogs, they're herding dogs, they have a high percentage of wild dingo in them. They were crossbred with for having additional endurance to be out on the cattle drives and ranches and whatever in Australia, and to deal with the heat and exhaustion and whatever. But it still doesn't prepare you just for like any sort of, just to have a dog suddenly. And this was the first time I've owned a dog. The vet stuff, having to, when you go on a trip, assign or prepare and arrange is the word I was looking for boarding or something to take care of your dog, and food, and like I said, the vet stuff and the medication and whatever. And is this another? It is another. Woo! We are making up for lost time here on the spawners. The grand old collapsed spawners in the desert are coming up gangbusters. And another zombie one, it sounds like. Yep. And now to try to found that chest. Ooh, we can make a bomb. Speaking of, we can make a clock. Let's make a clock. No, God. Oh, that's taking the story in the wrong way, Kurt. Wrong direction. Oh, I think there was a zombie here. I saw him glitching. Oh, that might be bad. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Gotta go. Uh-oh. I don't know why I jumped. Critical hits are not a thing in this version of the game. I demand another chest. Wolfie does too. Do you not hear him? Demanding? Oh, well, this is a load of bubkiss. And there's no chest around there. All right, well, that stinks. There could be one here still. Oop, I don't have a... Nope. 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 All right, no chests. No additional chests. One chest is all you get. That stinks. We've been bamboozled, I say. Bamboozled. All right, nuts to that place. Oh, dang it. Come back. I wasn't done with you. Oh, man. What I meant to do was... All right, let's do this properly. There we go. All right. I said what I meant to do was place this down. Let's make a shovel while we're here. And we can make an iron shovel. Watch out now. We're big spenders. But let's have some fun, why don't we? I'll answer the cattle dog question in a moment. Sorry. Worry not, my friend. I have not forgotten you. There we go. All right. Let's do this. All right, I'm actually going to have to get out of here with some haste. Haste! Oh, hey. Haste! Gotta go. Haste! We must leave with haste. Wolfie, you should be all right. Oh. Whoa! Oh no! Okay, that was an accident. I did not expect that. Ooh. Alrighty then. I'm gonna need that bread, please. All right, that was fun. I was not expecting that. That was quite the bamboozle. And Wolfie's fine. Yep, I'm the one who took damage there. All right, so let's. I'm such a noob. How could you not have assumed that would happen, sir? Let's get rid of that. What else do we have that we don't need in our inventory here? Woof! I know, that was scary, wasn't it? But let's go. I ate that. All right, I ate that bread as I got Wolfie off his tuchus. And that, I fell on my head, apparently. That took some damage out of my helmet. But anyway, I digress. So, regardless, speaking specifically of Australian cattle dogs, Eva is small for a cattle dog. She's like 32 pounds. They're generally like between 30 and like 45 pounds. I would assume, I'm not 100% sure on this, but the males tend to probably be both bigger in size and have more energy and have more of that endurance and kind of herding drive. I think. It could be wrong. So I think Eva is not your typical Australian cattle dog, though she does require exercise. Like yesterday, I did not take her out for a walk because it was too hot, and I didn't wake up early enough in time, and sure enough, she still had quite the energy, constantly wanting to play fetch with her little squeaky toys, stuffed squeaky toys, sit down to watch TV, and she has converted what is, I think, in the home supposed to be the dining room. It's just kind of like an extra area outside of the living room. She's basically converted that into her play area. Whenever you get a squeaky toy, she runs right there and is ready to play. And she'll do leaping, jumping grabs and whatnot. I did, speaking of which, a couple days ago, I took her out on an evening walk, and she had a bunch of energy pent up, and she decided it was time to run at full speed down the sidewalk. And I have a leash. I have a bungee leash, which is a good investment, by the way. You never want one of those retractable leashes. Those are the devil. So this is a bungee leash. It's like it's pretty much a static, like, 4-foot leash, but it has bungee to it, and bungee, so it doesn't both rip my arm out or hurt her neck if she tries to run away too fast. But she decided to go on a little bit of a sprint, and I decided to try to run to keep up, and even at my fastest sprint that I could possibly run, she could go faster. And she was essentially, if I had jumped, she would have dragged me through the air. So there's some additional energy there, and I was quite winded. And then she also decided to do the same thing on the way back for like the entire length of a block on the sidewalk. So that was fun. So yeah, there's some energy there. And it just has taken some time to kind of get used to it. Simply just owning a dog. I said before, just the same thing about moving out here to Arizona. I didn't introduce Eva to the world because it was kind of touch and go at first. I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I adopt a dog? I do not have the time for this. I'm sitting here complaining that I'm not keeping a schedule on YouTube, and here I am adopting a dog that's going to take up all this time and money, hours a day. I mean, I suppose, a half-hour walk in the morning and in the evening is enough. I prefer to take her out to play, careful, Wolfie! Gah! To play, yeah, sure, have a seat right up there. There's the flames on the horizon. This entire forest is going to burn down by the time we wake up. That should be a fun time for us. I prefer, the thing that really wears her out better is frisbee or fetch out at a park, and that seems to get the most of her energy out versus walking. You can tell sometimes she's smart. Australian cattle dogs are smart, so you also have to be prepared for a smart dog. When you take her out for a walk, she'll be excited and want to run and pull you along, but once she realizes that we're just out for just a normal walk and we're not going to play fetch or frisbee, she'll start to drag behind and be kind of a grumpy Gus about it, and it becomes a little bit annoying in that regard because it's like, come on, we gotta walk. And she's like, going too slow. Yeah, otherwise she's fun. She's quirky. What am I doing here? I got the bed down. I could use another axe. I could use An iron axe, maybe. Look at me, spending all this money I got from the spawners. Money for days. And I'll wait to make a pickaxe. I have enough of that. And yeah. So yeah, I would recommend it. Certainly go through a rescue group. A lot of times with these dogs, people purchase or somehow get an Australian cattle dog, not realizing how much effort and work goes into it, so they will end up at shelters or whatever. So I would recommend finding like a specific shelter or rescue group that deals specifically with cattle dogs and go from there. So good luck, I suppose, and thank you very much for the question, Welk's Chance, and everybody else who has donated to Child's Play Charity at farlandsbust.com. I do appreciate that, and the continued support, for Farlands or Bust. I appreciate that. That was where that word should have come in that thought. But regardless, thank you so much for watching episode 507 of Farlands Bust. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.